Another week, another batch of Nintendo Switch eShop deals, and today I have 12 games for you all coming in under $10 or your local currency, covering the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia. Now this week I have everything from obscure indies to modern classics to AAA, so I really do think this is a very good batch. I also then have a winner to announce later in the video for a $10 eShop gift card, and I do have a one more to give away to enter. Drop a comment down below and that winner they'll be announced in next week's video. I'm also happy then to announce that we do have the discount back on eShop credit, so head to cornershop.gg and use code CORNER at checkout for 5% off your total order, and these eShop gift cards, they are delivered instantly via email, so it's going to save you a little extra cash on the games you do pick up today. Now if you do enjoy the video finally, consider subscribing, it helps us out a huge amount, and we're going to be kicking things off here with HunterX. So this is a Metroidvania that is essentially a reskin of 3000th Duel, however it still manages to stand out because the game just shines in its combat, platforming and boss encounters. The story has potential as well, but it needed additional love. It's nothing more than a brief opening cutscene, and yeah, it establishes our mission is to vanquish evil, and yeah, that's for sure disappointing because this world seems so interesting. Overall, however, if you want action, this is going to be a good choice thanks to a huge selection of weapons, items and skills. My only other issue with the game, the map does lack readability at times, and I often missed the smaller sections that held the key to that next step of progress. I still had a blast though with the game, as you'll see in my review in the pinned comment, and it's 40% off a new low price. Zengeon is an anime-inspired roguelike game where you choose from 6 unique characters to battle hordes of enemies and challenging boss encounters. Now each character brings different attack skills and items, so it's definitely going to be worth experimenting with each. Now your objective here is to repair the seal in the Blessed Land while exploring a procedurally generated map that definitely adds into that replayability. Experimentation here is definitely going to be key, as well as you can modify your character with these different power-ups. The game then also features multiplayer support, although I haven't personally tried it yet. And yeah, look, while I enjoyed this one overall, I still had a few issues. I actually beat my first run relatively quickly, and the flashy visuals not only occasionally caused minor frame rate stumbles, but also the on-screen chaos made it a little difficult to follow the action. 65% off then here is a new low price. Pato Box is next up then, and when I said obscure indies in the opening of the video, this was the game I was kind of referencing there. It's also a gem of a game that deserves more love. It is a surreal boxing quest where you take on the role of a character with a duck head, and you are seeking retribution against an evil corporation. It's all about quick reflexes, this one, but the world of boxing just doesn't get enough love. This is then elevated with its story, a comic book visual style and an arcade mode to top it off. It even supports motion controls, and it's 80% off a new low price, which makes it as budget as they come. Two quick mentions here, then I just got back from Anime Expo 2023 and it got me thinking about anime games on the Switch, and I wanted to highlight today both One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 and One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. Now if you are curious about upcoming content from that show as well, over this next week I will be previewing 4 games from the event that are yet to release, and then on Sunday I will have a full tour of the event for you all, so do watch out for that. Now these games then are licensed spins on the Warriors formula, meaning incredibly dumb enemies, lots of them, and you must take them down. I'm really not all that knowledgeable about the One Piece series personally. I wanted to get into it, but it's definitely intimidating. I'm seeing over 1,000 episodes, but I will say I still had fun with these, and I felt the story, it did enough to kind of at least clue me in on what was going on. Now I would say the third game was probably my favourite out of the two, but overall the cast really is fun, and I think these are just great prices. They are both 85% off each, and that matches the low price. A shout out then to Untold Tales, who were kind enough to sponsor today's video, asking me to tell you all about their massive eShop sale. And now I did a dedicated video on this as well, so do find that below in the pinned comment. I actually break down 20 games there, but it's going to be their entire library, and they have some real gems, most of them coming in under $5 or your regional equivalent. But today I wanted to quickly highlight a few of my personal favourites. So first up, the Hong Kong Massacre gets 90% off. That is a John Woo inspired twin stick shooter. What Lies in the Multiverse is 50% off. That's a platformer that plays with the idea of switching realities to overcome obstacles. Finally, Everdream Valley is their latest release, and it's an entry to the Farmer Sim world, but it packs in some real unique mini games and a focus on crafting. That one's going to be 40% off as well if you do own any game from their library. Now I do have videos on all of these, so do find them in the pinned comment below and check out the video on the sale and the link which takes you to the eShop, and it will display their entire collection. Now again, a massive thank you to Untold Tales for sponsoring this video. It is seriously appreciated, so do go show them some support. Everspace Stellar Edition is here with a new low price, 75% off. This one comes highly recommended from me. I think it's one of the better sci-fi experiences on the system, especially for those that want something action-packed. So think here, a space shooter that's packing roguelike elements alongside persistent progression. Now the big idea here is to explore, blast away enemies, and meet a decently sized cast of characters along the journey for the narrative. You'll get to do everything from picking your ship to crafting to upgrading, but then it also packs in all a DLC, so that's an additional ship, new side missions, new weapons, new life forms, even a digital art book and soundtrack. Furi Modore Edition then brings together the base game as well as the recently released DLC, and that's going to be basically a few gameplay tweaks, but mostly it's a new character that may look the same but introduces new fight mechanics. And the gameplay itself, it's a boss rush experience. You are attempting to escape some sort of futuristic prison. It is incredibly challenging battles these, but they're punctuated by brief walking sections that you will definitely be thankful for. I think the best thing about Furi, however, is that since launch, they've added a slew of options making it playable for everyone, thanks to inclusions such as invincibility mode. I'm a big fan of the game overall. In fact, it was one of the first ever reviews on the channel, so do find that in the pinned comments. And I also reviewed the DLC too, so look for that there as well. Now, problems-wise, the frame rate's not entirely stable, but I found it was still more than playable. It's just not quite locking out at 60. This discount then of 60% off, that matches the low price. Giga Wrecker Alt comes from Game Freak of Pokemon fame, and here we find ourselves in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by robot invaders, and a young girl will control the fate of humanity. It's a 2D action-adventure game that combines platforming, combat, and physics-based puzzles. Expect a whole lot of enemies to take on, weapons, tools, puzzles, and I guess deadly locations. It's honestly been a little while now since I've played this game, and it gets mixed opinions, but I generally did enjoy it. This is also a great price right now, 80% off, and that is a new low price. Velocity 2X is a hidden gem which deserves more love, and this new low price may help that mission. It's 85% off, and overall, I'm going to put it out there, I am an absolutely massive fan of this game. Now, I originally played it on the Vita before picking it up on the Switch, and it's a really unique combination of top-down shooter and side-scrolling action platformer. Just incredibly fast gameplay, and you have abilities here such as teleportation, which can be used in both modes. It is a game that was built for speedrunning more than anything though, and that is instantly noticeable because, well, it features online leaderboards for that very reason. There's also then challenges and DLC locations packed in as well, and yeah, just overall, fantastic game. And the story, we are escaping a hostile alien race and we're trying to save the universe in the process. Garden Story gets 60% off a new low price. This is another hidden gem. It's an action RPG where you take on the role of the newly appointed Guardian of the Grove. You must help this community by traveling the land, combating evil or rot, and inspiring the locals in the process. I love the visual design, it's got a ton of charm. It's around 10 hours of gameplay, so a nice length for the genre in my opinion. And the combat overall, I'd call it just okay, probably not what I would be coming for. If you do like the look of it though, I'd give it some consideration, especially if you like old school Zelda games, because I think the similarities here are clear. Floppy Knights then, and transparently, I'm only just starting to really get into this. I picked it up all the way back in January where it went immediately into the backlog, but now it is here with a new low price, 60% off. And transparently, this game kind of actually annoyed me a little bit because it released out of nowhere the same day I released a best deck builder video for the Switch, which I will be linking down below. This one though, it blends its deck battling, I guess, with turn-based tactics, and it features all the DLC, so that's 24 new levels as well as 50 additional cards. I think this is a great price, however, and I'm sure many will be excited to see it coming in sub $10. Our winner of the week then, it's going to Bubblegum, who picked up Spelunker. Congrats Bubblegum on the win. Drop me an email to claim your code, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance in next week's video. Oxenfree then is our final game of the video. It's 80% off, matching the low price, but that's as cheap as it can get in the US, and it needed a shout out given the fact the long-awaited sequel will release here in the next week. Now, I never did get to review this first entry, so expect to see a video drop this week in anticipation of that sequel. I will also be reviewing the follow-up, but I'm not sure when that will be, no doubt somewhere right around that launch. I don't want to give much away with this game then, but if you do enjoy narrative adventures, it is a must-play. It's a supernatural thriller about a group of friends who open up a rift. Now the characters, the world, the gameplay, just fantastic, and it comes highly recommended. And that's the video down. Will you be adding anything to the library? Let me know in the comments with that. Hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, deals, and news and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.